everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino era walk, and this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation and I deliver to you whatever the most important message for you to hear right now is. I don't know where that message is going to come from. Maybe it's coming from your higher mind and I'm listening, but you're not listening to yourself. Maybe it's coming from my psychic ability or spirits that are around you or pets that are around you. And I just ask that once you make your donation, you stay open to receiving your message, whatever it is. Now, whatever name pops up on the screen here, I'm going to call out that person's name, and then you're going to get your message. Immediately after, you'll see the next person in line show up on the screen. Diana, my beautiful producer, is here doing this on her own today for the first time. So please be direct if she reaches out to you and has a question about your name, matching your payment, or anything else. Please be quick, okay, and clear for her. All right. Messages, 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 messages. What is coming through? Let's see. The first person I have a message for is Anne Marie. Anne Marie, what do I have for you? You know, I'm getting the sense that you feel a little bit like you're climbing in life in general, but you're not going anywhere. So you may be in a period of anxiety or busy work, or it's almost like a mouse on a wheel. And there is this sense of, okay, I'm all right. Things aren't bad, but things aren't great. And you may be feeling a little bit numb or burnout or a little lackluster. It's like, I don't have a ton of excitement necessarily to try to go out there and meet new people or to go out there and do something, you know, extraordinary or go on some adventure. It's almost like, I don't really care. I don't really care right now. I'm happy in my bed. I have my snacks. I have my wine. I have my TV show. Like, I'm fine. And that's great. But it is a period of time for you where you're supposed to be exploring new things that actually inspire you. I think one of the things that's going on here is that you have a positive attitude, which is a beautiful thing. You have an attitude of gratitude toward life, and you are counting your blessings. You don't want to be a negative Nelly about life, but you are also not fully admitting to your own self that you're not super excited about life right now. Nothing is thrilling you. There's no fire in the belly. You don't think that things are really moving much. And so there could be a feeling of stagnancy here. And it's very possible that what was once fun is no longer fun. And we hit that mark, I want to say for women every 7 years, you know, and you really need to take the time right now to explore what excites your soul. How the heck do you do that? By getting out there, by tasting life, okay? By just trying new random things. You don't have to spend a ton of money or time on it. Get your feet in the water and see if it's a pond you want to swim in, okay? But it's time for you to spice it up, because right now you're like, you know, this well-fed hamster on a wheel, and you're like, everything's good. You know, nothing's really wrong. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I have a big pile of corn over there I'm looking forward to later tonight. You know, and it's like, let's shake it up, shall we? Let's shake it up a little bit. All right. Thank you, Anne-Marie. We're going to move on to Masubi. Masubi, what do I have for you? There's this freaking weight on your shoulders. There is this pressing, compounding, like pressure. Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everybody. Can you say hi, Ezzy? That was the longest meow ever. That was a performance meow. Thank you, Mama. This weight on your shoulders is maybe starting to make you angry. You know, I think there is a point with a situation like this where you've had things compounding on top of you, and then it's like, okay, get this one brick off of me, and then there's another brick, and then there's another one, you know, so it could feel almost like you were carrying way too much weight. And in the last year, ballpark year and 7 months, and the last nine and 5 months in particular, you had a breakthrough in 9 months, you had a breakthrough in 5 months, you may have started to feel like, okay, I should be feeling better, or I should be getting happier, or this should be getting lighter. And then it's like more stuff coming up. And so, you know, you could just reach a point where you're like done being sad, and you're done asking questions, and you're done with prayer, and you're done with manifestation, and now you're pissed. You have to just turn into a bitch, you know, and you have to just come at life and be like, I'm gonna kick it in the balls. I'm gonna just take control over this situation. Like, I am going to do everything I can. I'm going to do it unapologetically with whatever emotion I'm having. And I'm not going to feel bad. However this lands, it lands. It lands. And that's it, you know, and I'm going to enjoy my life, damn it. And I think that where you are right now, it's almost like you've been pushed, you know, to the edge through these lessons and karmic tests. And maybe that's the whole point. You know, maybe you reaching that point of righteous anger and unapologetic rage, you know, that you had to own it, and it brings you into your power, and it gets you out of this cycle once and for all. I do want to say that in regards to like some of the recent weight and pressure put on your shoulders, this feels like the end of the finish line. So it was going to be anyways, okay? Because you are wrapping up a cycle of many tests. And I want to say this for everybody. When you go through a lot like that in a very short period of time, typically 2 years, it is a detox phase. Detox phases last 2 years. And after, you get 1 year where you would get an opportunity to level up. Light bulbs are turning on in your head. You're having realizations about who you are, why you're on earth, what you came here to build. And then you get 2 years to build after that. So you are entering into a brand new phase. This is just an out with the old and in with the new for you, you know, so try not to take it personally, even though every square inch of it has been personal. You know, celebrate your wins and rest. If you've done everything you can, and the answer is yes, you have, you just need to right now say, F it. I'm getting it off my mind. I'm getting it off my mind, you know, getting this weight off my shoulders. I'm done. Thank you. We are going to move on to another one. Why are you back up here? Did I not just put you on the ground? Don't you have toys? Edgar. Next message is for Edgar. Edgar, what am I getting for you? You have a grandmother coming through who's talking about speak your truth, speak your voice, sing it loud, sing it proud. It's almost like an anthem of some kind. I think that you have more to say than what you're saying. And it feels like you've been very hesitant. It's like, I'm tiptoeing around this situation, or I'm tiptoeing around a conversation with this person. And I'm not walking on eggshells per se, but this sense of like, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, I don't want to rock the boat. Well, I don't want to prematurely, you know, speak. I think you are in a period of time now where you really just need to sing and say your truth. There's nothing, how do I want to say this? Okay. If you keep limiting your speech, it can start to come off as weird energy. It can start to come off to other people that you're doing that with, as like hiding something or masking who you really are, or like people who are intuitive, and women especially, I think, are very in tuned to when someone's energy doesn't match their words or their behaviors, you know? And so it's like, you're trying to be considerate, but you're really trying to be careful. And it is coming from a place of ego, which is fear, manipulation, and control. And so it's starting to create this dichotomy that people may start to notice and wonder about. And when people wonder about something, they automatically write you off as bad. They put you in a bad category, or a hiding or a lying category, you know. So it's time for you to be more open in general. When your grandmother talks about you singing your truth, she's really talking about just getting in the flow of celebrating who you are. I also want to say this. It's not just about the words that you choose. It's about what you don't say. It's about your body language. It's about how you present. It's about making goofy jokes when they pop into your head, or stepping out and doing something weird or quirky, and, you know, doing it without any type of shame. It's just about being more you. Okay. So right now people are looking for that from you. And it's also this idea that your relationships can build a deeper bond if you're willing to do that, but it's on you. It's on you to do. And that will affect work and personal relationships, as well as like just even people on the streets, maybe trying to talk to you more the more you do this, but celebrate who you are. You seem to restrict it quite a lot and have for probably your whole life. That's over. Okay, she's proud of you. Next one up is Mairead. Mairead, what do I have for you? You seem to have a lot of voices talking at you. Now, you did this. You invited it in. So you have to now process it. You may have asked recently a lot of questions, especially about your resources, things you want to change in your day-to-day lifestyle, questions about some deep thoughts you're having and deep-seated issues you're trying to maybe get rid of and evolve into. When you invite people in to a conversation like that, they have a lot of opinions. A lot of people are going to push an agenda. A lot of people are going to say whatever they need to say to you, like they're selling, you a product. They're going to try to get you to buy whatever they're saying or selling, proposing. And so you may be feeling, especially in the upcoming 2 weeks to a month, maybe a month and a week, that there's a lot of information coming at you and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What am I supposed to do with all this? And it's like, well, you did ask those questions. I don't know if you asked it of these people directly or you're asking it of the universe. You're opening yourself up. You're saying, I'm ready for change. If I'm going to change, A, B, C, and D, how do I best do that? And the universe is like, here are the answers. Here are a million different ways to go about doing this. And all that glitters is not gold. So instead of getting stressed out by all the options that are coming at you, I think a better approach, okay, here's a trick that I use. Before I go to anyone, okay, even spirit, before I go to anyone with a change I want to make or a big decision, I'm about to engage in, I go inside and I ask my higher mind first, how should this play out? What's the highest likelihood of how this will play out? And, what do I need to know about this? What can I do about it? What's the timeline on it? Give me the details. I collect that information first. Then, if I need more clarity or I want confirmation, I will then reach out to spirit. Spirit will give maybe 3 signs, and that's all you should need. Okay, anything more than that is excessive, but you should ask for a few signs. Spirit, show me how. And then if you need more clarity, go to other people. Okay, after that, start opening yourself up, whether it's talking to the salespeople or it's talking to an expert in the area you're thinking about going in, or it's asking friends' opinions, or it's going to a psychic reader, or whatever it is. And what they tell you should never be shocking. If it's accurate, you should already know. Okay? So try not to get overwhelmed. Remember that you asked for this and have a good time with it. Because the only thing worse than having to go through major change in life that can be a little bit uncomfortable is not having answers about how to do it. And you have a million. Okay, so it's a good problem to have. All right, we are going to move on to another one. Thank you. This is Deanna. Deanna, what do I have for you? Before I get to this, just want to say welcome for everyone who's tuning in late. Could everybody please at this time give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind, and it helps me out in the algorithm. Also, please do subscribe and share this video. If you would like to receive whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now, you're going to drop a $10 donation. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, that's coming up in the comments. Directions on how to do that. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, that's at the top in the description. All right, Deanna, what am I getting for you, Deanna? You seem to be taking control. You recently said to someone, stop, or I don't want to hear you, or I'm not doing that, or don't bring that to me anymore, or like, that sounds like a you problem. I mean, you basically said, enough, enough. And in doing so, you got this spirit showing the symbol of like a beautiful red, fast convertible and you're behind the wheel. Okay. You may have been trying a lot of things in your life in the last year or so. You may have been, and then a year and 2 months ago, you had an opportunity to level up, and you may have, I'm not saying you botched it, but you may have procrastinated and been very double-minded. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. What do I do? What do we do? You know, and it just didn't ever create all the changes you have made, the things you have tried in the last year or so, haven't really created that powerful burst forward, that feeling of not only self-empowerment, but I'm being seen as a power player in the world around me. The way the world is interacting with me and the people in it is a recognition of my power and my position. You know, this is Queen of Swords energy for me. This is Queen on the Thrones type of energy. I think that in this last test where you said to this person or this situation, don't come with that nonsense to me anymore. You essentially said, I'm ignoring you. You know, you're cut off. And I feel like one of the things that happened here that you may have been really struggling to learn is that someone else's karma show is not your problem. You can get entangled with people and situations all day long, and you're only ever responsible for your part of the karma there, for your part of the contract. You're responsible to stay in your lane. So anytime you're overreaching, you know, you're codependent, you're enmeshed, you know, you are enabling them, you're selling your soul, you're disrespecting yourself, you know, you're caught in a loop, you're not using your self-control to get out of the system, the cycle. Every single time you do that, you lose your power, and you have to it almost feels like starting over. So this was sort of a grand finale when you did this, because behind this act was the understanding, which you seem to still be processing a bit, but is the understanding that they were putting their stuff on you, and that is not your problem, and you don't engage with that nonsense, you know? So that was a long time coming. Yeah. The image of you being behind the wheel of a red sports car. Red is power. Red is money. Paint your front door red, right? Prosperity. Wear the red lipstick. This is power in your speech, power in your actions. Also, the idea of you being behind the wheel of the car symbolically is you actually getting into a position in your life where you could start to make changes and see blocks and obstacles be removed, movement forward. This is exciting. It also looks like a lot of fun. Enjoy. All right, next up is Jill H. Jill H, what do I have for you? You know, I'm feeling like you are letting yourself out of a horse pen, and there is this sense of being restricted for so long. You may have felt like the last two years in particular, you may have felt crippled out by circumstances that just kept like resurrecting and coming back around. It was like whack-a-mole or crabgrass. It's like this again, you know, it's like another change with circumstances that were making you feel stuck, making you feel trapped. And the year before that, so between the second and the third year back, you would have had some compounding stressors. This was relational. You know, there's new research that just came out that says that relational stress is the worst kind of stress for humans. And that feels like a year full of relational stress. So, you know, you went from relational stress for a year to 2 years of resource stress, compounded with like the relational stuff never ended. It's too much. And the image of you being a horse in a pen, this is your totem right now, but a horse is a symbol of power, of also happiness and joy and adventure, you know, but a horse in a pen is losing touch with all of that, is none of those things, is living none of that out. And so the idea here of you finally getting out of the pen means that you are getting ready to embark on a whole new life for yourself. And all of your spirits spirit loved ones are celebrating this. Your ancestors and your guides and your angels and your pets, and you know, everyone's celebrating. I'm celebrating this for you. I think we're all celebrating this for you. That it's like, finally, you know, finally you're ready to go. And you may not feel ready to go. You may not know where the hell you're going. It doesn't matter. You're a horse. You don't have to. You know, they don't ask those questions. You go. You figure it out as you go. The point is, movement can happen now. You taking your power back and becoming more of who you authentically came to earth to be. You may be tapping in with parts of yourself that you've never tapped in with before, especially in the upcoming year. You may be tapping in, I want to say 1 to 3 years total on this change, you being this horse. You may be tapping in with who you were as a child if you lost sight of some of your adventure and your inner child. So this could be a big, you know, inner child journey of excitement too. And I love this for you. I love it. But it is important to remember, just because the gate on the pen opened doesn't equate to you being out. You have to go through it. Okay, so get out and enjoy. All right, we have another one here. Shauna D. Shauna D, what do I have for you? Writing it down, making sure you're writing it down. If you, and I can't prescribe or diagnose, but if you've been feeling a little bit like, I think I have ADD, or I think maybe I'm having memory loss, or I think maybe something, maybe stress is confusing me, or, you know, here's the solution. If you need to see doctor, see doctor. Okay. I can't prescribe or diagnose. Write it down. I am telling you, write it down. Write everything down. Have 50,000 Post-its. If you have to, use notes in your phone, you know, make lists. I have these yellow papers and pads. I mean, every single inch of my house, my Jeep, my everything, my purse. I have these pads. If you need to take things off of your brain and write them down so that you have more clarity, so that you don't forget them, so that you feel more empowered, so that you're more organized, or so that you can fully process what you're feeling and what you're thinking, almost like journaling. Maybe exactly journaling for you. Now is the time, okay, to get in this, to get into a new rhythm and routine for yourself, where you're not allowing anything that's bothering you to be in the way, to stay in the way, to stand in your way. It's like you're getting ready to plow through, but before you feel totally confident, kicking in a door, busting through a wall, you know, or telling people no, it's like you're right there. I mean, you're on the verge. You're right there. You're like, I need to get my head straight. You know, I just need to know confidently what I'm saying, why I'm saying it, that I've been maybe ethical, or like I've thought it through, you know, I've thought about all the potential outcomes, and then it's like, go, all right, just get it done. So I also feel in with this is a period of time where you're coming into more leadership, and it's not just through this act of writing everything down, writing everything out. It's through you being a little bit kinder to yourself. You do have a lady coming through, I want to say mom's side of the family, watches over you in a maternal way, was very wise, was a great healer, beautiful hands, soft heart, giving you red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. It can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it out resonates. But, you know, there was this stillness within her. And even when she was going through horrible things, she never really complained. You know, she held center and she would just breathe through it. I feel like you're the spitting image of her, but it's like you're coming into that person, you know, and you, from that place, she'll be leading and guiding you through that process. You're going to need to give more out to others. Okay. Like an elder or a mentor, you know, more of that, more healing you will give to others that channel down through her to you, from you to others. Let's go move on to a Carrie Watson. I'm so dehydrated. I just walked like miles and it was 80 degrees. I feel like a raisin. Okay, let's move on to Carrie Watson. What am I getting for you? You know, you have, is this a grandfather? You have a grandfather coming through, but he's a no nonsense kind of guy. You know, he's kind of tall, big, like a wide guy. Doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. I mean, if he had a little scruff here, he kept it short. You know, not a lot of hair, but what he had, you know, gray, and took care of it. He's a good-looking guy, but he kind of blended in with everybody, and he really didn't say too much. But when he spoke, it was hilarious. It could be sharp. It could be cutting. It was observational. He was very intelligent. He understood how people worked. He understood how money worked. He understood how business worked. He's talking about you using your common sense and having an attitude in your life right now of having the right type of discernment and judgment and unapologetically coming at people and coming at situations with facts. You know, it's like you're him. It's like you're taking that part of yourself that came from him and you're letting it come to the forefront. You're putting your grandpa mask on, you know, and you're just being you, but being very, it's almost like poker face, cutthroat, cut them off at the knees, dry. I'm going to say it like it is. And there's a time and a place to do that, I think, for everybody. But for you, I think it's something you typically try to avoid. And if you feel like there's someone around you or a situation where someone's giving you nonsense or they're feeding you some line of BS, this is it for you. I mean, you are ready to confront. And I don't really think you care necessarily. Let me rephrase that. Your higher mind doesn't care how it feels to you emotionally. Okay. Your higher mind knows that emotionally, you know, if emotions are fickle, it'll come and go. But the ground you gain in doing this, that's what is really significant here. Okay. So be cutthroat. And, you know, you've bit your tongue for a long time in some situations. I think it's also a motivational time if you're looking at doing anything with like an increase in your work. So whether it's like a certification, a little more education, some research, you want to kind of level up, this is also time to sort of grab onto that coin. Okay. He loves you very much. A lot of grandparents coming through tonight. Tanya R. What do I have for you? I feel my left arm like sagging, just sagging and flopping and laying there. This is always going to be symbolic. Okay, we talk about the hands, we talk about the power out, we're talking about your movement forward. If you've been doing anything creative, if you've been doing anything with a project, this thing is like your baby, you know, you are trying to move forward in your life in some way. A lot of that inspiration and direction is going to be received, okay, through the left side, but it's almost like you're full. It's full to capacity. You've received everything. So now it's time for action. I do also feel like you may be holding yourself back in some ways and creating almost like a burnout or an exhaustion, or because you are overthinking. And it's not always overthinking necessarily. Sometimes it's just that you want answers and it's not time yet. And so you're like, well, let me think of it this way. Let me try this. Let me try that. You know, and it doesn't seem like it's overthinking, but it is too much in that you need to understand right now circumstances are going to play out on their own. So you've done what you're supposed to do in collecting the information and the inspiration. Now you need to put it into action and then let go, let God, let go, let the universe, let things fall into place the way that they will. There are a lot of moving parts here, and you're not God, so you're not going to be able to be in control of all of them. You seem to be steering the ship pretty well though, and it's almost like you're taking the bull by the horns. And this is coming mostly from your work and money guide, in saying that what you're doing now, you know, is part of your life contract, right? Which is so important. For those of you who've never had a life contract, you may want to book that with me. It's what you came to Earth to do. You know, it matches your numerology chart. It matches your Vedic or Western birth chart, astrology. What did you come here to do? So it's like, Tanya, back to the point, it's like, you know, you're in alignment, and that power, that rush, you know, that vibe that you get, that electric, almost like a, you know, kundalini shooting through you, that should be enough to keep you motivated. And you're going to want to focus more on that type of energy than like all the questions and where will this go and how exactly will it play out and where will it land. If someone recently just came to you too and said like, I would like to partner with you, I think what's really important is that you're being careful about who you work with. Okay. Because let me tell you, people have radar. People know, they can smell money and they can smell success on someone, and they will come, and that does not always mean that they're coming with the best intentions. It does not mean that because they showed up and it's confirmation for you that they're not opportunists or that they have any real clue about their skill set. You know, I have people coming to me all the time wanting to partner, and I'm like, you don't have what it's going to take to maintain even what you're doing, but they don't see themselves clearly. And they see an opportunity and they think it's going to be a great time. Not for me, it won't, because I'm going to end up being like the mule carrying all the weight. You know what I mean? So you've got to be careful who you get involved with. Just, it's the beginning of a process of people wanting to work with you is all I'm saying. Okay. All right. We have another one for Elvin. Elvin R. Elvin, what do I have for you? You guys are on fire. What is going on? Another similar message with like righteous anger, pissed, but it's coming out in your speech. This is something you should be proud of yourself for. And this could work for you in business. You can get really, really pissed or reach a breaking point about something, but man, when you show up, you are clear, you are concise. You know, you choose your words wisely. It's like you're channeling in those moments when you're speaking, and it's important, you know, and you're being potentially then heard and respected. It's respectable presentation of what I think is just facts. Okay, it's, yeah, there could be a lot of emotion behind it, but like I said, that's not coming out. It's just facts. So I see you entering into a situation right around this time. There is talk of 3. Take it out resonates. Could it have been 3 weeks? It could. I'm feeling it more like 3 days. So it could have been both. But it's like between 2 to 3 days back, okay, ago, there was movement here. I feel like I'm choking. In this area, Ezzy. And there could have been a situation that was like coming closer and closer and closer, like a deadline or a meeting, or, you know, if you're dealing with like anything legal, or you're dealing with like conversations that had to be had, and you contracts, paperwork, negotiations, okay, and you are now right around this time in that sort of like righteous anger, like you're ready to snap. I keep seeing you as like a gator. If you've ever been down south, I'm from there originally, there's gators everywhere, right? And they're cute and you want to pet them. And they're like dogs, you know, they're like water puppies. They're adorable, but they will chomp your arm off and they will like eat you like a snack without a second thought. And like you have to be careful with the gator. And so the energy you're coming at the situation with right now is that you are adaptable, like an alligator. They're in the water, they're on the land, they're cute, they're loving, they're playful, and then you will also chomp someone's head off, okay? You'll bite their face off if they do you wrong, if they do you dirty, if they speak out of line, they tell a lie. And so it's like everything's getting in check because of this new energy you're coming with. I like this for you a lot. It does feel like it's leading to a win. Okay, so if you haven't been feeling lately like you've got a lot of wins, you know, they are coming, but it's like the same messages I had for that one person earlier. It's like you had to get pushed to this point. Masubi, that's who it was. You go back and listen to her message too, because you guys may be having some collective messaging going on here. Okay, and for the audience who's listening and like you're not buying a message for yourself, if anything strikes a chord with you, you know, a lot of my messages in all of my shows do tend to be collective. So take it if it resonates. But you had to reach this point. This was the karmic lesson behind a lot of this happening, okay? And you're on a different vibe for the rest of your life after this. All right, we're going to move on to Emily D. Emily D, what am I getting for you? You know, you seem to be wanting to get in this car, and it's like, I want to get in this car and I want to just like go for a ride and I want to have a good time in life, which is symbolic of movement. You're wanting more movement, you're wanting more adventure, you're wanting more travel, but you're very much like, I don't know, do I want to get in this car or do I want to get in this golf cart? You know, and it's like, I'm not saying you're playing golf, but it's like a golf cart. What are you doing with that? Like, who rides these? It's like, you know, not a big commitment. It's like, okay, maybe I don't want to commit, you know, that's like the symbol of the golf cart is like a lesser than, you know, lesser than getting in a vehicle. But it's still kind of fun, you know, maybe shorter trips, closer to home, smaller adventures. You know, you're just, the thing that bothers me with all of this is just that, like, you're never behind the wheel. You're hopping on someone else's golf cart or you're getting into the passenger seat of someone else's car. And it's like, why aren't you just like going? If you, let me put it this way. If you are in a period of time in your life right now where you are waiting on other people, you need to stop. Okay. There is a world of adventure. There is a world of travel. Okay. There are tons of opportunity to bring more excitement into your life and to feel more connected, even artistically, okay, creatively, to the things that you're doing, work and outside of work. But if you're waiting on the gun to go off for the universe to tell you it's time to begin the race, or you're waiting for someone to come in the car to pick you up, you're waiting to go with other people or for them to be ready or for them to want to do it with you. You know, you're waiting on stuff that's never going to come. I'm telling you now, if you're waiting on your employer to give you that opportunity, it's just this stuff is not coming. The point of all of this for you right now is to sort of dictate where you go and what you do and to not be saving anything else for a rainy day or for someone else. And this includes in life, if you've been looking at, and I see this with a lot of people, women especially, this is just a general message for everyone. If you've been thinking things like, well, you know, I'll buy a house one day, and this is just an example, Emily, I'm not saying this is exactly what you're going through, but it's like, I'll buy a house one day when I have a love partner. I'll have a baby one day when I have a, don't do that. Don't do that. There are men everywhere. There's sperm everywhere. Okay, just coming at you. There are sperm banks. There are houses to be bought. Women are now ruling more than 50% of the housing market. Single women or women living together. Like, just go get the house. Okay, have the baby or don't, or you know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you want to do. Take the trip, but don't be waiting. You know, don't be waiting on something else to give you the go ahead. So this feels like a busting out for you, Emily. Pretty exciting. All right, Denise B. Denise B, what do I have for you? You seem to be coming out of some sadness, and it's almost like, I'm okay. I'm great. I'm not sad. And then it's like, give her a couple glasses of wine. I'm not laughing at you. I do this too, you know, and then all of a sudden you're crying. You're like, what? Where did this come from? I thought, you know, I thought I was going to be having fun tonight, or I thought like, okay, well, it's very possible that there's some stuff going on internally that you're not completely processing. And because you are a soldier and you've been soldiering on for a long time, you're like, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm in a better condition right now than I have been. You know, I've been through tougher times than these. Well, no time like the present to process. No time like the present to heal from that trauma or those losses, that grief, those disappointments, and do the shadow work. You know, don't wait until you're in the pits of life. You know, the pits of hell to have to process things. Do it while you're okay. You know, and you're feeling somewhat stable, but there is a need. There is some stuff behind your eyes, a sadness, in your heart, a heaviness, in your stomach, twisted knots. And it's like you do so well carrying that weight, but it doesn't belong there, you know, and you're not a soldier, and that's not natural. And so the universe is saying, we're about to purge. Are you ready? So it's about to come out, and it's been kind of coming out. I'm hearing too, the last 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 hours, you know, it's been coming out. And that could look like spontaneous crying or emotional meltdowns, or you getting agitated or irritable and you don't know why, and you're just, you know, or you're not wanting to talk to people or see anyone or deal with anything, you know, or I was going to go do this thing and I thought it was going to be fun and it's definitely not, you know, I want to leave. It's going to come out one way or another. So get control over it and decide what you want to do in the process, how you want to entertain it, and let it come out. And journal also your dreams, because a lot of it is going to be happening through your sleep. So look up the symbology that's coming up in your dreams. But this is going to lead to you having a lighter energy, like you look 10 years younger and your skin is super rosy, and people are like, what did you do? I don't know. Maybe someone will think you had, you know, a facelift or something. You're like, you know, you give facials? What did you do? Are you in love? What is it? You know, and you're like, no, I went through this really difficult month where I released all this shit, you know. Well, what does that mean? Well, you detoxed your chakras. You know, it's like a Kundalini effect. You've let everything out. And so like now your vibration is higher and you're channeling more and you're meeting better people and you're having more connections. There's a greater level of intimacy with everything you do and everyone you deal with after this. Okay. So let it happen. It may seem insignificant in my saying it in the beginning, but it isn't. Okay. It's a big deal. All right. We're going to move on to, actually we are almost at time. So this is the last call. If you were just debating on dropping a payment, or if you did, but like Diana, my producer, is trying to, you know, match you up here with your name matching the payment or whatever, respond to her now, let her know now, make your payment now, because we are going to wrap up here in just a minute. You are welcome, Emily. I do want to get and see if we have any comments here. Sorry, guys, I haven't really had time to look at the feed. I'm just choking. I am just so... You know what? I'm not going to complain. 80 degrees. I'm happy. Shona said thank you. Tanya said thank you. Marie said thank you. You guys are so welcome. And then, okay. All right. And then we have thank you. This really resonated with me. I feel the shift starting. I love hearing I'm working with horse energy. Yeah, that's a big deal. Beautiful. I do want to also remind you guys, okay, Denise Bennett, I see you dropping a very specific question. Do I have a money block? If you guys need a reading, money, work, and career, or it's up on my website as like finance, career, and investment or something like that. Okay, you can get a money reading with me anytime, or you can tune in for my show next week. I'm now doing shows every single week. And if you guys are showing enough demand for it and I'm getting enough support on all my channels, I will continue to do them every week. But next week is my Ask Ivy show where you can ask a specific question. So Denise, that would be better. One of those two ways. Let me get back down here and see if we are at time. I don't know. Diana, are we actually at time, or do we have some more coming in? Masubi says, in reference back to her reading, and she was one of the ones I said that started to feel like a collective message, mostly between her and Elvin and another person. But we were talking about that righteous anger. Sometimes you have to get pushed in life to that point where you're like, I choose me, like unapologetically, like I am coming at life, I'm going to do the best I can, and then F it energy. You know, it's like alpha energy. Masubi says, yes, I am angry and tired of all of this. Thank you so much, Ivy. You are welcome. You deserve to be in that energy, right? We are taught, especially here in the States, and especially as women, never to be angry. And if you are, you know, deal with it in private. Never let that out. We need more of this righteous anger. This is where it's at. This is where our healing, our power, our abundance, and our leadership for the next generation is at. Let's embrace it. I think we're all feeling pretty angry about a lot of things. Yeah, are we at time, Diana? Let me know. I think Diana did a great job. We can all give her claps and drop a, you know, kudos to her in the comment section. Hopefully she's able to stay on with us for production. Okay, we are at time. Beautiful. If you guys want to book a reading, a psychic fair party with me, go to ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. And I do work internationally. So phone reading, if it doesn't work with you, you can get an email reading. If that doesn't work, you can get a spirit message or a video read. All right. I will see you guys next Wednesday, if not sooner. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you, Spirit. See you guys soon.